All right, we got to see some of Will Levis here. As Will Levis, we did see 14 snaps of him earlier in the preseason back in week 1, but a little bit more playing time here. I thought it'd be fun to make a breakdown of how I thought he played. So yeah, let's just get into it. Real quick before I do though, I do have a movie channel. If you like movies, check that out. The link is in the description below. It's Jackson Kruger Movies. But yeah, without further ado, let's talk Will Levis, why don't we? So first we'll start off with this play. The play you see on the screen, it's going to be a zone coverage concept, and you have Calvin Ridley running a route that could hopefully get into a gap in coverage. I definitely think part of why they wanted to have these guys play in the preseason was to see how they'd play together, get Ridley and Levis maybe to get some chemistry down. So on a 3rd down and 9, a shot in the end zone, well, hey, here's a good opportunity to get some chemistry down. However, when this play begins, this is quite frankly not a throw I think Levis should have made. Sure, it's 3rd down, so taking some chances is, you'd rather do it now than on 1st down, right? But at the same time, this is double coverage, and really, you could debate both of the Saints players here have a better chance of getting the ball than the Titans receiver. Really, for this to be a catch, it's going to have to be an absolutely perfect throw. And to be honest, it's pretty close. I mean, that's about as good as you can ask for. So the throw itself, really good, really well done. It just, to me, this was a bit of a risk because even with that really good throw, it still wasn't able to be complete. And that was a good throw. If it was a bad throw, that's how interceptions happen. So I don't know. But other than that, it was mostly good. I thought it wasn't always the highest degree of difficulty plays. Like, there was a decent amount of things like what you see on the screen, a man coverage concept. This is once again Calvin Ridley, who's going to be going more over the middle right here. And when the play begins, it's going to work really well for Tennessee. I mean, the Saints player trying to cover Ridley actually just goes down right now. So while there is a different Saints player who's kind of in the area right now, he's actually trying to stay deep. He doesn't read that Ridley is wide open. So for Will Levis, he sees what's happening. He sees that Ridley's about to get open. And I think a lot of young quarterbacks might be a bit panicky and try to get the ball over there a bit too early. But I like what Levis does here. Watch him really just get the ball over to, Ridley, and they're able to pick up a decent completion there. That's good stuff there, I think, by Levis. Again, it's not the highest degree of difficulty type stuff, but still, you gotta make the layups, right? Like this one's another one where what's going to happen is it's a man coverage concept. Once again, this is a, it's sort of a pick play type situation of what's happening right here. I guess a rub route because, a pick play is illegal if it's more than a yard down the field. This is more than a yard down the field. So the receiver who's running what would be the pick, his job is essentially to make it seem as though it's a regular route. If you do that, then it's considered legal. If it feels like the only reason the route is there is to get in the way of someone else, then it is illegal. So when Levis takes the snap, he runs a play action and is going to look in that direction and fires in that direction. And again, you see this is open. And these are not super difficult plays to make. They just aren't. Like, as you see, Levis, I mean, again, he has to hit them, right? Like, you still get credit for hitting the throws you're supposed to hit, but definitely these are those types of plays that are going to inflate the stats a little bit. When people discredit certain plays by saying, oh, it's just, it's just preseason, there was some of that. I mean, again, you see the numbers, 7 for 8, 118 yards. You might think, wow, he was going off. He was, playing amazing. The reality is, I mean, he was going up against backups, and it kind of showed, I would say, at times. Again, the way I always view it is when you look at these types of things, I think you can still evaluate a player even if they're in a good situation, though. Because, I made a Bryce Young video saying I thought he played well, and a lot of people said, well, yeah, sure, he played well. He was going up against backups. But, in my opinion, you can still watch someone go up against backups and determine how well you think they played, unless you're just looking at a box score. Saying that they're playing backups is certainly something you have to take into account, but it doesn't mean that you can't, you just throw it out and say, well, there's no, meaningful things that we've learned from this. Like, again, another play that I thought was just kind of a simple one. This one, it's a 4th down and 1. So a big play, right? A big play in a meaningless game. So the way it's going to work is they're going to keep the ball in Will Levis's hands and have him roll out towards the top of the screen. As you see, when Levis runs this play action, he flips the ball up in that direction. And again, they get the 1st down, works fine. These aren't the highest degree of difficulty plays, but he hit the layups. So some people will sit here and say, who cares? It's preseason. Don't even worry about it. It means nothing. Some people will say, wow, 118 yards on just 8 attempts. He was going crazy. I think the reality is no, he was mostly just doing what he should do. Heading over here, like this was actually, I think, a really good play. It's not going to work, but I think it was a good throw by him where it's going to be a man coverage concept, and you see the route where he is going to look. It's over towards his left. Okay, well, simple enough. Well, let's see what happens. Levis looks in that direction, and is it open? Well, there's a window to make the throw. He can get the throw there, right? The issue is just can the receiver win the one-on-one matchup, but Levis is going to give him a chance. It's 3rd and goal. You don't have a lot of other options if you don't throw it here, so I think it's a good decision. And I think this is a good throw as well. In my opinion, Burks was getting held, and that's why the flag comes down. But at the same time, like that was a catchable ball that could have easily resulted in a touchdown had it not been for a penalty that was called. So definitely, in my opinion, this is good stuff, I would say, by Will Levis. So yeah, I mean, as a whole, it was a solid performance, I thought, by Will Levis. Like, again, he didn't have that much to do. He wasn't in that difficult of situations, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. Like, you are going up against backups. You would like to see your receivers, get open. The fact that he hit Calvin Ridley a couple times, I think is, reason for optimism if you are a Titans fan, because obviously, we've seen it happen all the time where a receiver goes to a new team and they just don't get the chemistry down for whatever reason, even though it's a good receiver. So seeing them kind of get the chemistry down, maybe not on that one play, but other than that, kind of get the chemistry down is optimistic. Seeing the offense be ran pretty well is solid, and seeing Will Levis be able to make the layups is also pretty good. I touched on it earlier, but just to kind of elaborate more, usually when I say like situation or like who you're playing, to me, when I watch film, I don't even really care who you're playing, because at the end of the day, for a quarterback, like all I care about is how open are the receivers and, how well is the offensive line blocking. Like, I don't care if you have a great corner who's getting burned or a bad corner who's getting burned. If the guy's open, the guy's open. If the guy's not open, the guy's not open, right? That's just how I've always viewed it. So the backups thing doesn't really bother me too much. But in a situation like this, part of why I guess you could use the word discredit some of Will Levis's stuff is just simply because I think guys were getting open. But again, that's not to discredit it. It's just to say that don't look at the numbers and say, wow, he must have been awesome, because that's not how it always works. But I still thought he was solid. So like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well did he play? This is like a solid 6 out of 10 performance for me. Of like, kind of what I said is a 6 out of 10 is, do you just run the offense the way you're supposed to and don't do anything above and beyond? To me, that's what he did. But I don't think it would have been possible for him to do anything more than a 6 out of 10 performance, just given the situation. He only had 8 passes. He did what he could do, and so I'd say that's pretty good. Just didn't have a chance to do anything more. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.